Welcome to the Energy Design channel, where we explore different subtle energies that we use in our creative work, hoping that we can give you some nice inspirations regarding colors, numbers, geometry, and symbolism, clarifying some energy behind it. So in the end, you can create amazing pieces that emit this beautiful universal life energy. In today's episode, we are going to talk about spirals. But before we get into it, I would like to thank you from my whole heart for all support that you give to this channel so we can spread this information further, inspire other people, and also so that we can continue our work with our passion and love for science and creativity. Okay, so let's dive into the spirals. Today, I wanted to talk about spirals because, again, this is a topic that is misunderstood. It's based on different sequences. So there is mathematics involved. And mathematics, as you can imagine, is very much related to geometry. We can say that mathematics is something that our left brain can comprehend. And then geometry is something that connects both left and right brain. It's through this imagery that we comprehend things, sometimes without even consciously getting it. So drawing different sacred geometry is absolutely amazing for our brain functioning. I can recommend it to you as well. I felt I had a lot of different sensations basically when doing it, and I hope that you can also find something interesting for you when doing it that will open your minds to this higher potential. In this first photo, I would like to show you the differences between different sequences. So we have crystal spiral, we have golden mean spiral, and we have Fibonacci spiral. I chose those three ones because they are most common. Those are not the only ones, but they are, I think, mostly discussed currently. How such sequence is created, it's based on certain pattern, and they are in correlation to each other, so that every so-called next step, bases on the previous one or previous ones. And since they're in this correlation, you can connect them. And this is something natural that we would like to do since they are in the correlation. Okay, let's connect the dots. And this is basically how the spiral is formed. We can, of course, form them in different ways, but the proportion itself stays the same according to the sequence that is used. So the first most commonly known sequence and the spiral is Fibonacci. It's said that it's occurring naturally, that we can observe it in nature. The nature is following this Fibonacci sequence. This brings back a bit the topic of the matrix, which I will refer to later on. How we can see it here is that each square represents its this different number in the sequence. So it starts with 1, then 2, then 3, then 5, then 8, then 13, and then 21. Each next step is a result of adding two previous ones. And then we draw part of the circle that connects two opposite angles. What we can say about the Fibonacci spiral is that it starts with 1, and then again it's 1, and it basically has the beginning. It has the beginning, it doesn't have end. And the farther we go with this spiral, it's more similar to the golden mean spiral. However, it's never the same. And this gives me two, let's say, red flags for using the spiral. Why? So first one is that it has the beginning. It has to start with 1. Otherwise, it's not Fibonacci. And the universal life energy, which is from the source, which is the God's creation, it doesn't have beginning nor ending. So this suggests that it had to be created at a certain point. Second thing is that it's emitting this golden mean ratio. So it tries to be what is golden spiral, but it's not. So it sounds very much like this imperfect copy of the God's creation, which actually our nature can be part of, like this whole matrix. So I would like us to keep it in mind when using Fibonacci spiral. The second spiral is the golden mean spiral, which doesn't have beginning and doesn't have ending. It's always multiplying the next stage, next part, by 1.618 and so on and so on and to infinity. So this number itself doesn't end. It's not limited. As you can see in the video, you can go deeper or you can extend the spiral into infinity, both ways. Of course, I would like to remind you that if you, for example, are drawing the spiral, of course, you will just start somewhere and finish somewhere because, for example, you don't have much more paper. However, it's the sequence itself that is projecting in other energy levels continuation of that spiral. So it doesn't matter if in this physical reality we have this limited space, it doesn't matter. It's still extending into infinity both ways on higher energy levels. As you can see, we can also draw golden mean spiral based on the squares, and those squares together also form golden mean rectangles that are also useful for different projects. So if you want, you can also use golden mean rectangle. And then the last spiral that I would like to discuss is the crystal spiral, which is maybe not so commonly known. But if we reflect about it a bit more, we will see that, oh, that makes sense. Why it makes sense is because it bases on binary system, which means duplication of the previous stage. And this reminds us a lot about even how our cells are formed, or rather how our body is formed through cells division. Each division, the next part is multiplying basically cells by 2. So first we have one cell that is divided, and then there were 2 cells, then there are 4 cells, then there are 8, 16, 32, and so on and so on. So this makes absolutely sense that this crystal number sequence is connected also through the sequence itself with our body, and therefore also with our energy source. It also doesn't have beginning nor ending, because we can have half or quarter and sort of go deeper or extend it farther. And the easiest way to draw it will be through drawing first some circles. And for instance, each circle will be bigger by 1 unit. Then we take this, let's say, north or 12 line as that reference one, the main one. We draw all those different rays like in a clock. It's a simple one, like make it like a clock. So 30 degrees between each other. And our sequence numbers will be on that first main ray, let's say, which is pointing this 12 number. So you can see on this octave spiral, which is the same as the crystal spiral, 1, 2, 4, 8. Then the next step is to connect 1 with 2, but so kind of we try to make a circle, but we have to extend it a bit so it looks like a spiral. It requires a bit of practice to draw it like nicely, like here. So I suggest to, for example, print it and try practicing drawing those spirals. But please keep in mind that this is the beauty of our handcrafts, hand creation, is that it has to be perfect in perfection. We don't need to be perfect in drawing those spirals when we do it with our hands. Because through our hands, we are already giving this life force energy into it. We may make those kind of little imperfections. What will be more important is that we focus on this octave spiral, that we want to draw it, how it looks like, that we don't stop when drawing. We try to make it smoothly, because we also want this energy to smoothly move through this spiral. So we don't want to make any blockages on the way. We want to make it nicely, effortlessly, and enjoying this moment, and not being, for instance, stressed about, oh my god, I'm gonna make some bad movement here. No, just relax and allow this energy to flow through your hand, be it as much as possible in this unconditional love feeling of joy, and that will be way more important than making any little mistake in there. Practice makes us masters, so just continue experiencing it and let me know how you feel when drawing such spiral. And to sum up this episode, what I can recommend you is to use either golden mean spiral or crystal spiral, because they have no beginning, no end, and they naturally connect us with the life force. I would try to avoid using Fibonacci spiral, as this is related more to the matrix part of the reality. And one more thing that came to my mind is regarding direction of drawing it. There is no good or bad direction. Both of them just serve different purposes. So you either want to expand the energy outwards, or you want to put it inside of you, which can be useful for the inner work. So I would say it depends on what your objective is here. Usually people would prefer to make this spiral serving like expansive purposes. So naturally we would start from the center and then going outwards. And regarding the direction of it, so whether to do it clockwise or anti-clockwise, making movements clockwise connects us more with this physical reality, and anti-clockwise connects us more with divine planes. So it also matters like what you want to connect more with through your art. I hope this episode was interesting for you and you got some inspirations for your artwork. Please remember that you can find more of our creations in the description box. Thank you again for all your support, and may the creative force be with you. With all my heart, Aga.